Next one out is also a person who has had the whole world as her working place and have experience both from journalism, Elle magazine, fashion, and so forth. She's from HM, Hennes og Maurits, as we would say in Norway, and that is Catarina Midby. But before I give her the scene, I would like to welcome Her Royal Highness, Crown Prince Mette-Marit. Thank you so much for listening in to our sessions.
So, hello, thank you for being here, all of you. I come from the fashion world. I should start by saying that, so I'm not a CSR person. But I'm fortunate and lucky enough to work in a company that gives us all the opportunity to work with sustainability. It's not only the responsibility of our CSR department, it's actually all of ours responsibility. And all of ours passion, because we are constantly learning more about this topic. And the more we learn, the more engaged and the more passionate we become. Not only about fashion, which is our main business. So, this was very easy. So I should start from the beginning, and I'm going to talk about, not about our CSR work in general. We have a very extensive CSR foundation at H&M. But I'm going to talk about the way we have worked with sustainability in the design office. So, but anyway, starting from the beginning, in the 90s, when ecology was a trend. And it was actually a trend at the time. It wasn't a long-term commitment the way we work with it now. We made a collection, which we called in Swinglish, Nature Calling. It was all about, we had to have a special chemical restrictions list for it, because we didn't have one at the time. We had introduced our code of conduct in the beginning of the 90s, so we had that. But the collection was it was actually not all that attractive, because there weren't that many great fashion fabrics made from more sustainable fibers at the time. So it was all like stiff cotton, very drab colors because of these special chemical restrictions. And so it didn't sell. I used to work in a magazine at the time, so I wrote about it because it was a great story. But nobody wanted to buy it, really. So the collection was discontinued only after 2 seasons. And then, but the good thing about it was that H&M decided to hang on to the chemical restrictions list. So from then on, we didn't have the problems with having to make special arrangement for more conscious collections. And it was quite a big thing at the time, actually. Today, we all have a chemical restrictions list, but it wasn't the same at that time. So all suppliers had to comply with this and had to make quite a few changes in their production process. But we are a big, we already then, we were a big buyer, and we can actually make change because we are such a big buyer. This is what it looks like, our chemical restrictions list today. It's been updated about 12 times since then, and it's one of the strictest in the industry. So anyway, the collection didn't sell. We didn't do anything with organic cotton or with more sustainable materials for a long time, because if things don't sell, it's not a great success. Of course, sustainability has to be about people and planet, but also about making profit, of course, because otherwise we have nothing to invest. But then, at the beginning of the 21st century, we started to see changes, and we started to be affected by the effects of global warming. And we saw scenarios like this in media, like this. We were all affected by the big tsunami in Kaulak, and that kind of really touched us in Sweden, where we operate, where we have our head office. So we felt in the design group, and of course the reason for this is the rising levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And right now we know, a lot of us, that they have raised to levels that are no longer healthy for the planet. And this is, of course, because the increasing population in the world. Anyway, around that time, we started to feel that we really want to contribute to making the planet a better place, basically, environmentally. and for the people, of course, as well. So in the trend group, we started to figure out how we could do that with a collection. So we got this company called BSR, Business for Social Responsibility, to help us make a life cycle of an average garment's greenhouse gas emissions from the fiber production through to the user phase. And this is actually quite good to know for all of us who are into fashion and who are fashion consumers. So we thought that transport, for instance, would be a really big part of the total impact. But as we see, it's only 1% because we ship everything by train or by boat. The fiber production, it was a big part, and then we saw at the end of it, we saw the user phase was a huge part. But we thought we had to start with the fiber production and with what we can actually do something about. So we started to buy organic cotton again. And in the beginning, we only did it to raise availability and to start up the process in the conventional cotton industry. And then we didn't have any communication at all around these garments. But in 2005, we had a collaboration with Stella Mccartney, and she was really keen on sustainability, and she wanted us to make a difference that was showing to the customers so that the customers could make a better choice. So she insisted on having a few T-shirts and a few products in this range made from 100% organic cotton. And we had a lot of attention for this. These T-shirts, this is a colleague of mine showing this T-shirt. In media, and they are still in books, some of these T-shirts, because it was still quite a big deal at the time. It's only 8 years ago, but still a lot of things have happened since then in our industry. So, and this kind of opened the eyes to our designers, because they figured that if Stella McCartney does it, of course, then there's a link here between sustainability and fashion on a higher level. So we started to work with it too in the collection. And the first collection was released in 2007. Organic cotton only. Now we didn't have to worry about the colors because we had the restrictions and we had the setup for it. So, and there were some beautiful organic cotton materials available right now. And this was extremely popular with our customers. It was the first coordinated collection that we sold with a green hang tag. And obviously this was I don't think that any customer comes to H&M only for sustainability, but obviously it's a very appreciated added value, this green hang tag that we put on these garments. So it's sold. It doesn't look like something very special, but it's sold like crazy, this collection, and we had a lot of attention also in media for it, because I think we were the first company on the high street to launch a collection like this. And this is where we really understood that, okay, now the time is right. We have to take action on this, and we have to make sure that this time around it's a long-term commitment. So we started setting goals with organic cotton that we should buy over a 5-year period. We should increase our use of organic cotton with 50% each year. This we exceeded only after 1 year, and today we are the world's biggest user of organic cotton since a few years back, and also of better cotton, which is the even better version, which is cotton grown which is basically a conventional cotton grown with better methods. It's run by the Better Cotton Initiative, which is, I don't know if you're all familiar with this, maybe you're all kind of knowledgeable in this field. Or shall I explain what it is? I don't see any nods, I don't see any, yeah. Yeah. So the Better Cotton Initiative was an initiative founded in 2006, and it was initiated by the World Bank and the WWF, who invited some big companies to do something about the conventional cotton growing industry, because we know that it's very chemically intense, and we know that it takes a lot of water, and it's not so healthy. There are also social aspects to it. And the organic cotton is great because it doesn't use any chemicals at all, but it still doesn't take into account the water use. So, and also it's very limited because of the certification processes and so on. It's more expensive to grow, basically. So the outcome of this is, and we joined, and IKEA, and Walmart, and C&A, and lots of other companies. And the outcome of it was an education tool that we have introduced with lots of farmers in India and also in China and other places. Africa, on how to grow cotton in a smarter way, basically, without using so much, and it's very basic methods, using less chemicals and less water, up to 70% less chemicals, and also up to 40% less water. So that was, and we're also the biggest user of that. And going onwards, we, after having realized that this is what we can do with the cotton, we started to look at the other materials, but of course we had to learn again. Because it's been very much a learning process for us, because there hasn't been any manuals or any do's and don'ts. We've had to kind of do it ourselves from the beginning. So then we got help from another company called Midby, a Dutch company, and they help us make a list of, or a benchmark on different criteria of impact for all the materials we use, except for silk, because there isn't enough data for silk. All this, and we saw, and then we learned a lot again, because we all thought, I don't know, maybe you guys also think that viscose is such a great material because it's all cellulose and so on. But actually the production process is very, requires a lot of chemicals. So then we learned that tencel, which is produced in a closed loop circle, is the better alternative. And we learned that wool is not so great, so recycled wool is a better alternative. And basically all the recycled materials are the better alternatives, of course, because it requires less raw material. But today we use a lot of mixes and a lot of blends, but this was very useful to us, and it's been a great tool to our design department. And also throughout this process, we also had to teach ourselves, of course, working in the design department. But also we had to teach all of H&M. I mean, all our colleagues in the stores, production offices, and so on. So it's been very much of an education process for all of us, which has led to new knowledge and actually a great passion and a great pride of working for a company that wants to take all these initiatives and work on being forefront at the core of this business. So this is what our green hang tags look like. And we have them, in order for a garment to have a green hang tag at H&M, they have to have 50% or more of greener fiber, which is either recycled, organic, or cellulosic, or something else. This was our first collection that we produced throughout the whole of H&M, for women, men, young, and kids and baby. It was the Garden collection in 2010. For this collection, we had to develop a lot of new materials that didn't exist in the fashion business. We had to develop recycled polyester chiffon, recycled polyester organza, and since then a lot has happened too. But we thought at this time that it was fantastic that we could make all these beautiful fashion garments from these materials, and so did the business, because we got the attention, the equivalent of a designer collaboration that we do for this. So obviously there is a big interest among our customers, because our customers, fashion customers, are very kind of future-oriented, very interested in this topic, which we think also is very inspiring and amazing, really, that they are so keen on learning and engaging with this. This was the second collection. It was our Conscious collection. That was also when we introduced the name Conscious for everything we do for a more sustainable future in fashion. And then we work with celebrities like all other companies do. So in 2010, our colleague in the PR department who works with celebrities went to Los Angeles to see how we should work with the celebrity stylist. And the feedback he came back with was that everybody is really engaged into sustainability, and we need to have something more glamorous made from these fibers. So then we said, okay, fantastic, because this is really what we want to show. We want to show fashion on a high level and with this added value of sustainability. So we produced a collection that we call Conscious Exclusive, that we have actually seen a lot on the red carpet and so on. So that has been very exciting for us. And then again, we had to work on developing new materials. But we have a little department doing that today, and also accessories. This is what it looked like. And this is hemp, this satin, beautiful satin material. You would have thought that hemp looked like a rope, but it's actually very glamorous. This is our newest conscious exclusive collection. This pink dress here was featured in American Vogue. And we have seen all these garments on a lot of beautiful people around the world. This was another initiative that we did. We collaborated with a customized bike company in London, Brick Lane Bikes, because biking has become as trendy as an environmentally friendly way of moving around in cities these days. So we produced a collection that was particularly suitable for biking, for moving around on the bike, but also look great off the bike. So it's all sustainable materials, and it's tailored, it's fashionable, but it has this more movements in the shoulder and more fabric in the crotch and so on, to be able to cycle well on it. And if you remember the life cycle again, you saw the super big staple at the end of it, the user face. That's us washing and drying and ironing our clothes. We thought that we really, now that we have found the alternatives for the materials, we needed to, through communication, engage with our customers and offer them to Am I running too long now? Yeah, sorry. So I just want to, this is also, I think, very important. So we thought that we have to, and this is all about awareness, because if we all knew that if we lower the temperature from 60 to 30 degrees, for instance, we save half the energy. And if we avoid tumble drying, we all know that in Scandinavia, but in America they don't. We save loads of energy. And we don't actually need to iron. We can bring the clothes with us to the bathroom when we take a shower, and the steam takes the creases out and that sort of thing. So we have been working with that a lot, but and we wanted to have new symbols on the care labels, you know, the little label in the garment where it says how to wash things. And the result is this clever care label that now all companies can use, although it's our initiative. And we reckon that since over 50% read this care label, apparently, it will make a big difference when we introduce it. It will be in September this year when we will see this in our stores, and we already have other companies being interested in this. So if we all change behavior, it will probably make a huge difference, I would imagine. And we have also taken into account all the textiles that go to landfill. We know that you can hand in clothes to the Red Cross and so on, but not all these and most of the time it's kind of hard to get to these places, and not all these companies can take care of all the textiles that they get, so they burn a lot. So we have been thinking about what we can do about this to make recycling and reusing clothes accessible and easy to do, and also how we could use more of the textiles that usually go to landfill. So we finally found a partner called iCollect, a Swiss company, that helped us making this dream and this, because we thought this was a dream like 10 years ago when we started to talk about it, a reality. Anyway, so today we have these recycling boxes in nearly all of our stores. The goal is that they should be in all of our stores. So far it's in 1,500 stores across the world in all 48 markets. And what happens is that you bring your clothes to the store, you put your bag in one of these boxes, and you get a voucher in return as a discount for your next purchase at H&M. And then they are collected by iCollect, the company, and then they are sorted into vintage, insulation, new products like cloths and things like that, into fuel and into new fibers, which is the goal of this whole operation, that we should be able to make new clothes out of old ones.
Catarina?
Hence closing the loop.
Really interesting, but
now
we have to make
now
sure
we have to make
that other people also get
I'm
on
sorry.
stage.
So anyway, so this was just explaining what I just said. Thank you so much. Sorry for being so long.
No, you shouldn't be sorry. It's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think actually a lot of us would like to hear very much about how you manage to combine fashion and sustainability. It's really interesting, and it's important that big companies like H&M do that, and it's important that you come to us and tell about it. So thank you very much.